Hi knitters, welcome to PJ Knits. My name is Penny. I live in Central Illinois and I'm a knitter, a blogger, a YouTube podcaster, and an Instagrammer. Thank you for coming back, or if this is your first visit, thank you for coming. I hope that you will find something in my version of a knitting journal. Let's see. Okay, today is Tuesday, November 25th, Tuesday before Thanksgiving, and oh gosh, usually on Tuesdays I go to knitting in the morning, but this year I decided rather than having my groceries delivered, because I kind of thought I wanted to figure out what I needed, I decided to go get up early. I'm always up early. I'm always breathing some fresh air first thing in the morning out on the front porch, even though porch season is over. But I got ready and headed over to our local Kroger's and did my grocery shopping there. They weren't super busy, but the stockers were out in full force, soda and bread and yada, yada, yada. And then I came home, put it away, and then headed out to my local Aldi. They too were not super busy yet, but things were really getting picked over. And I knew that I did not want to go out on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving to shop. That's never been my MO. And I am having family come this weekend. On Saturday, we're going to go see Wicked, all the girls, and we're going to have our little get together here at the house. So I had to pick up some things for the grandkids that will be coming. So anyway, I have been up and moving for quite some time, and I am so glad. It's 10:30. I am so glad to be home. Pretty much have the groceries put away, and now I don't have to go back out until Saturday, hopefully, and so I can enjoy my Thanksgiving weekend coming up, and we'll talk more about that towards the end. But let's get started with what you are really here for. Here, first of all, Central Illinois, it's another gloomy day. No rain today. Right now it's 52. It's going to go up a little higher, but it's very gloomy. There was fog early this morning, rain last night, and then tomorrow, that is like the end of our nice weather for a while, I think. It's supposed to go chilly tomorrow and then snow this weekend. So I have charged my snow shovel, so hopefully that's the insurance policy that we need so that we don't get any snow until everybody gets home safely. So that's the weather report. I have been doing in November, since the 1st of November, what I'm calling two things on Instagram: Wear Your Knits November and Putting on the Knits, because I think November is always a great day, great month to bring out your knits. You don't really have to worry about holiday parties, but you do maybe some cool knits to wear to your Thanksgiving festivities this weekend. Or just to bring out your knits that you've been waiting to wear. And so on Instagram, I have been doing a new knit every day. Not a new knit, but wearing a knit every day from my wardrobe. And today's is another ground pepper. The first ground pepper I ever made by Suvi Knits. And I made two of them so far and wore one earlier this month. I love this pattern. I love the V-neck. I love how it feels. And I hate to say over and over that this is my favorite sweater, but this is one of my favorite sweaters. Granted, it's getting a little loose on me, but it is so comfy for a day like today. And first thing this morning, it was mild enough that I just went into the store without anything and did my prerequisite picture at the Kroger store in the tampon aisle and then had to white all of it out. So I wasn't very smart when I was looking at my surroundings. I was just trying to get somewhere where nobody would be like, she's a weird person. But anyway, I hope that for November, you have been bringing out your knits and wearing them. And I've had some that were lighter weight that I've been wearing, and then I'm thinking this weekend they're going to be some heavier ones, so I'm looking forward to that as well. And I have a lot of knits for the fall and into the winter, which I so enjoy wearing. And whether they're sweaters or socks or hats or wraps, shawls, I believe in wearing my knits, and some days I just cover it up in my 1/2 and half as I go out onto the front porch and just stand first thing in the morning, early, even before the sun comes out, just to breathe the air. So I hope that you're wearing your knits. That's the gist of it. I also will link in the description box below under more, everything, almost everything, if I can. I will link to these items, the sweater and anything else that I may talk about. So you can find that in the more box below. So first off, I want to announce the winner of the bag from the last set of comments. And it's another one of our friend Sandy's bags, and very fallish with the PJ Knits logo. And this vinyl is just super fantastic. And then also a lovely kind of a greeny fall inside, but very cool with the pocket as well. So we had just a little comment drawing, and this particular person who commented has commented before. Gosh, slow down, Penny. You got all weekend. Not really. But she's commented before, and she's working on socks, hats, and mitts. And congratulations to Patricia BUUCK577. Patricia, if you will email me your complete name and address, I am pjknitspodcast@gmail.com, or you can leave it on Instagram as a DM, or hit me up, and I am PJ Knits on Instagram, or you can hit me up with your name and address on Ravelry, and that's PJ Knits 1. You can send that message. So congratulations, Patricia. I know that you will love that bag, and I probably won't get it out. I might venture out Friday to the post office. One never knows, but definitely by the 1st of next week, it will be out in the mail to you. So thank you, everybody, for your wonderful comments. I'm super stoked about what you've been all knitting on. And please continue to comment down below. So I have a new birthday mug, and I'll talk about this towards the end. Some Yarny related birthday presents that I received earlier this month. So let's start with the knit-alongs. Now, first off, our Saturday night Zoom knitters, we meet on Saturday nights at 6 p.m. most Saturdays. This Saturday, I will not be there, but even when I'm not there, the group still, a few of them will get together. And so if this is something that interests you, this is my Saturday night dates that I spend with friends on Saturday night, and we talk about all kinds of things. The info is in the PJ Knits Ravelry Group at the header if you're interested in joining us. Know that we are a lively group. We will talk knitting, but we do talk about a lot of things. And as our friend Carol says, you come away learning something that you didn't know that you were going to learn. We do not talk, for the most part, politics or religion. Those two things are not part of the Zoom, but we'd love to have you join us if you're so inclined on a Saturday night. Anyway, earlier, probably in October, we talked about maybe doing a holiday/Christmas knit-along for the Zoom knitters, and it was kind of, as all knit-alongs are with Penny, they are loosey-goosey, and they sometimes have end periods that we don't meet, and the end period for this one was kind of like have it done by Thanksgiving. Mine will not be done by Thanksgiving. I don't know if my sweater will even be done by this Christmas. I'm going to try really hard, and I have been very semi-monogamous lately, knitting on things. I made kind of like a cheat sheet for myself, a timeline of things that I really would like to have done. One of them is for the year of 2025. These are all my whips. These are all tabbed on my 2025 journal. And one of the knit-alongs is called the fish or cut bait, which means either knit on these things and finish them or pull them apart and start over in 2026. So my goal is not to cut bait on any of these. I really want all of them. So that's my kind of thought process. That was one of the knit-alongs that we were kind of doing informally through the PJ Knits and through the Ravelry Group as well. the other one was our Saturday night Zoom, which is to do a holiday or Christmas sweater. And I chose Christmas Belle by Isabel Kramer. And I've shown this before, but I just wanted to show you progress as to where I'm at. I had this further along. And what happened as I was looking down at it, I noticed that my German short rows were just kind of showy. Not terrible, but as they were put into the pattern, they came further into the front, and I was noticing them. And a couple of reasons I think that I was noticing them is because this is a smaller gauge sweater. I did it on Cascade Yarns Heritage. I'm knitting on the main part of the body. I think it was more noticeable with a finer needle, and not, even though it's a dark yarn, I could still see them. And I'm a wrap and turn girl. I've been a wrap and turn girl forever till I figured out how to do them. And Meg showed us one time in knitting camp how to hide them. Not any big, secrets. And so I was perfectly content with those. But then German short rows came on the avenue, and everybody was doing them. Oh, I love them so much better. And I liked them, but I'm not quite sure that I ever get them right. I think I'm too loose pulling the yarn over, or I don't pull it over hard enough. And so sometimes you see them, and I've just not been happy with them. So when I was looking down at my sweater, I thought, I'm going to rip that back. I'm going to maybe wrap and turn, maybe do the German short row. And then I went out and did some research. And Susan B. Anderson, I believe, some time ago on one of her blog posts, talked about short rows and the different ways to do them. And one of them was the Japanese short row. And so many, many, many years ago, when Debbie and I first went to Stitches Midwest, took a class, and met Jan, one of our good friends now, in the class. We took a Japanese short row class. And so I remember that I had done that, but it was on a flat piece. And so I went on some links that Susan had referenced, and then found one, and I will link it below because I looked at several. And I think I found one that I really liked, and I really liked the Japanese short row, which uses the basis of a pin to hold it and then pull it back on as you come. It's hard to describe, but I'm thinking I'm liking this even more. So let's set that back there. So anyway, I went back and did my Japanese short rows, and I did not do them as far in to the front as Isabel had done. And so I'm quite happy with what I have on the back. So here is the Christmas Belle. I'm using that sparkly yarn. I think you can see that. I'll get out of the thing. I really like this. I really love this sparkle, and I'm very, very happy with it. But now it's stockinette all the way. So I am planning on working on that this weekend, But I love this Christmas Belle. And this is a James C. Brett yarn that I had in PYS for another project for quite some time ago. And I have lots of this left over. So this is our Zoom kind of knit along. We'd love to have you join us. If you're knitting on a Christmas sweater, I'd like to know about that as well, because you never know. I might do another one next year. And then the other, one of the other knit-alongs that I've been doing is the Arne and Carlos Christmas stocking. It is called now a Scandinavian Christmas. I am not going to show it to you because I'm not any further along, or much further along than I was the last time I showed it. I watched all their videos during it, but as I said, I kind of made myself a list of things that I really had to finish. And as the stocking is for me, I don't have to worry so much about getting it done for a couple of weeks. So I'm going to kind of put that on the back burner, and I will show that to you later. Want to just shout out and say, if you're interested in the Arne and Carlos Christmas stocking, it is out there on their blog, and it's free. And I do believe it's going to be free for most of the holiday season through December until they make you pay for it. So if you want it, go out there and download it right away. It's a wonderful, wonderful pattern. And then the final kind of knit along that I am participating in, and coming in not as good as the other ones, but in July when we were at Makers Meetup and went to Wool and Company, Debbie and I and Pat all looked for yarn to do the Ridge Forrester out of the Finnish Knits book. They both completed theirs, but because I've been doing several other things and knitting for Norway and stockings and all that, I'm not as far, and I don't know that I'll get this done before Pat takes off. But at least in the new year, when we go to Toronto, maybe we could wear our sweaters and get some pictures then. But this is where I was last time we met. Was right here, and this is a lovely progress keeper that I got on the trip to Norway. One of our fellow travelers made them and gave them to some of us, and so I am on now the 4 inches of ribbing, and I've got about an inch done, so this is totally kind of doable too. Now it looks super long, right? But when I go to block it, it's going to go this way and will shrink up, so that's why I made it as long as I could. But this is Ridge Forrester, and as I said, it's out of the Finnish Knits book, a Lina book, and I started it back in August when we got back, and I'm using, from the fiber company, I'm using Luma, which is organic cotton, linen, merino, wool, and silk, and I'm doing that in the Saint-Tropez color. And then the fluffy yarn is a Ito Sensei, which is a new mohair to me. It's 60% mohair, 40% silk, and I love it. It's in pool blue, and I'm holding the two of them together. And I have to say, both Pat and I both got this same yarn, not the same color, but this is just luscious. This feels so good, the two of them together. So I have a little bit to go, some sleeves and a lot of ribbing on here. So, and I know that Pat's leaving in a couple of weeks, so I'm not sure that's going to get done by the time she leaves. So I'll take their pictures and then, post me in there at some point in time. So that is kind of the knit-alongs, also known as right now corn, knitting on right now, because that's kind of all I'm doing is these. I'm trying to concentrate on these. I did go off on a tangent the other night and spent most of Sunday night looking at patterns, and I was like, oh, I want to do some Christmas dishcloths, and I want to do some more Christmas ornaments for my tree, and oh, what about this? What about that? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't do that. I just can't do that. But fun thing, and I'm going to link this before. Somebody reached out to me on Ravelry and sent me a link for mistletoes, which is a sock pattern that's free. And that one has me intrigued, because one of the things that we do at PJ Knits is on the Ravelry Group, we do something called mistletoes. And every quarter, I random number choose a person who's put their finished socks out in the thread for that quarter, and they receive, their choice of a new sock pattern. And so we chose mistletoes for that kind of thread. And so that we will choose at the end of December. So that's some fun stuff that we do on there. And so if you're a sock knitter, put your finished objects out there. You may win your next sock pattern from PJ Knits. So, oh, that tastes so good. Didn't have my full pot before I left this morning. Next thing I want to talk to you about is, I know that shortly And that's why I'm disjointed here with that one, right? I know that starting next week, everybody's going to be watching Christmas vlogs. I will be as well, and there'll be so many to watch and so many things to look at. And so that's why I was trying to kind of get this out here before, excuse me, before that all starts. I will podcast a couple of more times in December, one midway and one at the end. But I know that a lot of your watching time, if you're a podcast watcher, will be on Christmas vlogs and Advent openings and things like that, which I am, for my Advents, I have a coffee one. And then I also have the Woolens and Nash that we talked about before. Those are the only ones that I've got. I've got a tea one too from a friend. So I won't be really, I'll be knitting along on that and probably, sharing that on Instagram. And probably right after, we get into Christmas, closer to Christmas, all the podcasters, not all of them, but a lot of podcasts will talk about what you're doing for 2026 and your knitting. And we will do that as well. But for me, right about now is when I start thinking about my 2026 journal. And so I had ordered it, got the one I wanted, had to get it from England because the local places did not have it. So I've already started setting up my journal, my knitting journal for 2026. And so I'm just going to share that with you here, a little of the things that I have done with mine. I had a lovely set of stickers from various people. Some of them was from Grace, who was my Craftover partner, and she made these and some other ones I have collected. A couple of them are from my friend Amy, and then and some other places. So I have already decorated my 2026 journal to get started with. And here we are. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about the things that I put into what I have already gotten into my 2026 journal. I have set up in the very beginning, I've started with a page that is 2 pages, I guess, 2026 finished objects by category. What I like to do as I finish a project, I like to put it under a heading. And so just so I can keep tab on myself at the end of the year as to what categories I really concentrated on. I used to, at the first of the year, tell you all of the things that I finished, but I don't think I'm doing that this year again because if you've been watching, or I posted on Instagram in the project page, and I'm just, I'm not going to do that. That's all. I'm just not going to do that. So that's a first page. I also have a 2026 knitting goals. I always like to make some sort of goals. And, I think a few of mine that continue each time. Maybe there'll be a new one that falls into the category, but generally they're the same every year. This year, I'm putting in there Fiber Fridays are back on Friday, starting in January. And Fiber Fridays for me is one of those things that I like to, at some point in time on Friday, just touch bases with the woolly wools that I've got in my whips, or in my thought train, or in my PYS, Penny's Yarn Shop, of things that I want to concentrate on. And so I try to work on those on Fridays because a lot of times they will be color work, and where I love color work, other things satisfy me quicker. And so one of the things is the Viga vest, which is a vest from an old last year's Wool Week annual, and I got the yarn for it and cast it on. And then when the Norway trip started happening, coming close, I put all my Fiber Friday away, and so I want to bring that back out and work on that in 2026, even if it's just on Fridays. I also have in my journal every year is to work out of PYS, Personal Yarn Shop. I am not going to go say I'm on a yarn diet. I am on enough other diets that, but I'm going to try very hard not to just buy yarn for the sake of yarn, but sometimes you just have to buy yarn. And that's usually when it's, for me, when it's for a particular design that I want to, that I just don't have anything in my stash that says, oh, this is what I want to be, or I want to use the yarn that the designer actually used. I didn't with Finnish Knits because the cost for that was really going to be expensive. And so I went with, a semi-local yarn shop, Wool & Co. I also want to do some things out of my library, out of my books again, patterns that I have. I have set up monthly pages for each month, and I started putting in just some stickers. I have not put any projects in there. Excuse me. What I like to do on my monthly pages as it gets a little bit closer, I will put in the month, if I know that I have a baby coming, for example, and I want to have something ready for the birth of that baby, then I will put it into my monthly pages on one side of the page. So I know that I should, and usually it's a few months before the due date, and I will put on there, you need to work on this because this is the due date. And I started doing some stickers for my pages. And then on the other page, what I've been doing is I did go through and put on the month possible fiber events that I might like to attend, driving to, that are semi-close, but if they're not, one never knows. Just kind of like a bucket list, or something I would like to think about doing. Not that I will, but then it's there. And so I've started doing that. And as the month comes to close, or as I'm doing a podcast, I'll put like real quick rough notes of what I talked about in the podcast. So I can go back to the journal and say, oh yeah, you talked about that, so don't talk about it again. So I'll put that in my journal. One of the things I am not going to do this year is I'm not going to keep tabs on the yarn that comes in and comes out. I don't think. I might. Just, it's kind of fun to look at. And it keeps you honest too. So I might do that. I don't know. I'm on the fence on that. And then one of the things that I just love for my knitting journal is my friend Lindsay turned me on to these many years ago. These are Friction by Pilot, and they're erasable pens. And I have all the colors, but I finally bought a box of black because I was always trying to figure out what color I used. Sometimes I'll change it up and use some of the colors, but I do like these for marking in my journal, so that if I decide that I'm no longer going to knit that, I can erase that rather than using a pencil that kind of, I don't know. I just like using my Friction pens. So that's kind of one of the fun things too. So that's my 2026 knitting journal. I'd love to know if you're going to do a knitting journal. I hope this inspires you to do one. I journal every morning in another journal of things, and I've talked about that before. Where I put things in there that are just for me, just things to get it off my chest, or happy things. When my granddaughter called me last week on her way to school, wanted to tell me she lost 2 teeth and how she wanted to call me at 6 o'clock in the morning. Well, I was up, honey. And so I just put that in there, things that make me happy. I also put in there things that make me sad, and things just to get it off the chest. I do that first thing in the morning. So I'm a note person. I'm a journaler. I like to journal. Maybe I should add that to the thing. My blog is, sadly, I neglect that more than I do everything else. And maybe I should maybe I should not blog, and maybe I should add I'm a journal. I'm a journalist, but not in the sense of a journalist. I'm a journaler. Maybe I should put that into there. So that's kind of my knitting goals. And then one of the things that I talked about last time, this is another journal that I have set up, but this is my my sewing journal. I spent several years when my kids were young in two particular fabric shops, Joann's, well, Sofro at the time, and then Off the Bolt, which is a offshoot of Vogue Fabrics in Chicago, in Evanston. I worked for both of those, and I never was much of a sewer, and then I got a really nice sewing machine back when I was working at Vogue Fabrics, and I still have it. It's a Bernina 930, does everything I want to, but last summer, well, even before that, I had decided that I wanted to do a little sewing, and it was a grand plan, which I never ever, I did quilting. I worked at a quilt shop as well when my kids were younger, and I love doing that as well. But I see a resurgence of knitters who also sew. And, I was a sewer first before I was a really good knitter, I want to say. And so I want to do some more sewing. I made a pair of pants. I made a skirt last year. And this year, for me, I've had an issue with finding jeans that fit. And there's a brand I love, which is Kim Gruel on QVC, but she's not making as many of the ones in a style that I liked. So I ordered a few weeks ago like 4 pairs of different jeans from all over, and none of them fit the bill. And so I had happened on to Mari from Colorado Stitcher, who talked about making jeans. And so I'm kind of thinking maybe in the new year I might want to just kind of play with that. There is the Hintram dress I'd like to make. But I'd like to make some things that go with my knitting. And I guess this really this is not a sewing journal by any means. This is really a inspiration for styling, really. I've talked about that before, and I just wanted to share one with you. I am a part of Vogue Fabrics. Again, they have a subscription program that you can do to get, and I think it's every quarter-ish. I think about $30, but I get a catalog, and then I get a packet of fabric swatches, and then you tape them in, and they give you ideas for patterns. And I've always been a McCall's, a Simplicity, Vogue, Butterick, where you get the tissues, you cut them out. But it seems like they're jumping in price, and being able to just go look at a catalog is not happening, anymore since Joann's is gone. So I might give some of these some thoughts in their catalog. So I made a list of some pant patterns because what I want is some pants to go with my sweaters. Maybe not blue jeans, but a pant that fits nice. And I did make some way back when I worked for Off the Bolt. We had pants in every size, and the manager did a class on pant fitting, and people could try them on, and she'd tell them what to do. So I'd like to get back to maybe making some sort of pants that kind of fit in the new year. And I'm just going to share my latest kind of thought. There was a sweater in Talbot's Black Friday catalog on the back cover that was a green and a green marled with something. And then the catalog came, and I got some ideas of things that might go with it. So I just wanted to share that with you. This kind of tartan green and gold, and then there's this dark green. And I love this boot, a long skirt with a boot. I could get into that too. as well, because I do love dresses in the summertime. But I wanted to kind of just share that with you because there's a thought that I might do some sewing in the new year to fit. Why not? Why not? So I just wanted to share with that. I am not compensated anyway by Vogue Fabrics. I love Mood Fabrics. I want to check their stuff out. They don't have a similar thing, but check out Colorado Stitcher and her jeans and that. And so they've given me some thought. And also I know that Kelly does a lot of sewing, some dresses and that. And so I'm kind of excited about kind of like going out into that world. So last of all, I have no real mail call, but I want to talk just a little bit about a birthday I had earlier this month. And I have the best yarny friends. I got a lot of wonderful, we celebrated one Tuesday down at the shop. I got a lot of wonderful gifts. I'm not going to show them all to you here. I just pulled out the ones that are yarny related. But let's just say I got an amaryllis that is actually, it's the coolest thing. It's in a wax. It's encased in wax and it's growing. And I'm loving that. And I got some wonderful things. I got a really cool t-shirt from Kendra, along with a Christmas mug that I'll show you next time. And I'll wear the t-shirt, you know, when it warms up a little bit, but it has yarn across. It's so cool. And so I just had a great day. But I want to share just a few of the things that I received as birthday presents from the Yarny Friends. And this is Hue Loco yarns. This is Spun Sock XL. It's merino, cashmere, nylon, and there's 600 yards each in a teal. It's called Agate. Let's see, the cool, if we had sunshine, there, that top one's kind of like the color of it, right? And the interesting thing, I'm trying to figure out in the new year if I'm going to stay here because this particular chair is going to go away. And so I'm not sure if I want to stay on the main level or do some lighting upstairs. I'm not sure. I'll probably still be right here. I don't know why I would say that, but anyway. So I have 1,200 yards of this, and I have an idea. I don't know what it's going to be, but it is sufficient to put into a sweater with something else. So that was one of the lovelies. And then also from Becky, I received a hoof to hanger yarn from Sandpiper Gifts and Yarn. It's in the kettle colors, waterfall, in merino, tencel, and nylon. There's 400 yards in that, and this is, oh, sorry, you want to see it? Is that not beautiful? Oh, possibilities. Is that better? And then this is unreal. She found this. I don't know where she found it, but this is a Jim Shore, and this is by Inesco, and this is going to go up into my knitting Zoom Snoopy room, and it's going to stay up all year long. Now just look at that. Do you hear the puppy next door? Oh, is that not the cutest? Oh, I don't know where she found it, but I love that. I love that. I have a couple of Jim Shores, but this one was like, she was so excited for me to see it, and I was so excited to get it. And then next up is my friend Brenda, and there was a little bit of a theme, but first we'll start with the non-theme. I got a sock ruler slap bracelet. I have used this already. This is by Twice Sheared Sheep. I've used this already, the other side, not for socks, but to measure my rib or how much I had left to do on my sweater. So I will use this not only for socks, loving that. And then she also got me a pin, which is Stash Buster. a merit badge, and I will put this upstairs on my collection of pins. And then a lovely little tin. This is where the kind of the theme begins. A theme here. And inside, I have put things that I already had, but on the inside, and what I've got on the inside is things that I already had, but I'm putting my KALS stitch stoppers and my KALS progress keeper, and then a kilt. Brenda gave me this before, and this one came from Annetta a couple of years ago. So those are all in my tin. I'm going to keep those together, and then wait for it. I have emotional support Highland cows. Oh my gosh. Do you love them? Oh my gosh. I love them. If that doesn't make you smile today, nothing's going to. I love it. And then finally, from Brenda, my cup du jour. Live like someone left the gate open. I think we need to remember that, right? Oh wow. I love that. And then I have one other gift that I'm going to share, non-knitting related. My friend Victoria gave me so many cool things that are going to come in handy. They're sitting back there waiting to be used, things for next year's porch. There's a gratitude journal that I'm going to start in January reading, and a big bag for out on the porch next year, but I think I'm going to use it to put my whips in it to carry from here up and down the stairs too. So it's going to get some use between now and then. And then I have those from as well. And so it was just a lovely, lovely day. I got some great gifts from some other people that just made my birthday month. So that is really all that I have for you this week. I will be back in a couple of weeks. I think this is a fun thing. I believe it's Nancy from Knit Sip Happy. She does not work on Christmas gifts after the 1st of December, and I am not either. I am not knitting for anybody for Christmas. My knitting is going to be purely what I've talked about already, and only fun stuff, only what I want to. I'm not going to be under the pressure to do that. Next month, I don't know what we'll be talking about. I hope I have a finished project to show you. We'll talk about, things that we're seeing out there and about on Advents. My holiday decorations will be up. I don't know about you, but with having everybody here this weekend after everybody's gone on Sunday, I'll start decorating. And I do a tree. Usually I do a tree on the main level, one in my bedroom, one upstairs in the yarn room. This year, I bought another one I'm going to put in the basement because I'm hosting Christmas after that. That's going to be all the Snoopy stuff. And yeah, Christmas will be happening here at Shea PJKnits for sure. So that is all that I have. And just want to say thank you. Thank you so much to each of you who come back, who comment. Thank you, friends. I truly count you all as friends and appreciate you so much. I hope you're going to have a great Thanksgiving. I'm not sure what my actual Thursday is going to look like. I think it's going to be just me, but I'm okay with that. So there's lots of things I like to do on Thanksgiving. It involves some cinnamon rolls while watching the parades, and then I'll put food in. I have a little turkey to put in, and that will cook while I watch the dog show. And that evening I will have mashed potatoes and turkey and pie and wine and cheese, and I'm just going to make a day of it. And if my kids drop by, that's good too. But if not, I'm okay. I'm okay. I hope you are okay. And I hope that you have a great Thanksgiving. If you are traveling, please be safe out there. I know weather around here is going to be maybe a little dicey. And if you're having friends or family over, I hope you have a great Thanksgiving. And you only talk about fun stuff. I hope you get some knitting time in as well. And then last of all, this is one of the books that my friend Victoria had in my thing. And this is so appropriate for me. This is the Little Book of Joy. And I am going to try and share this with you every time I come on for the new year, into the new year as well. And we're just going to start at the beginning. I love these little books, and I should have looked. There's 100 in. Let's see. There's 100 in. And these quotes are taken from a lot of places. 180 some pages, so I can probably do 2 or 3 at a time as we go. I'll have to figure that out after today, right? But just a couple of things that I want to share from my book. Joy, definition, noun, a feeling of great pleasure and happiness. Joy, jolly, old you. And from Zoroaster, doing good to others is not a duty. It is a joy, for it increases your own health and happiness. And then finally, what are you doing today to bring yourself joy? What are you doing today to bring joy to another? And what are you doing today to share your joy with others? I hope that you are choosing joy. Have a great couple of weeks. I will see you in December. Bye.